Hey everyone, it's Mark with Leveled Up, and here we are for another round of Ask a Life Coach. So, let's see what you got. How do you go about fighting changes that are necessary but not desired? Fighting changes that are necessary but not desired. Okay. Changes that are necessary but not desired. The first place that my brain went when I read this question is, what changes are necessary? What is there in life that we really have to do? There's a lot of things that you might choose to do, but I'm struggling with, what's a change that's absolutely necessary? And I think this is important because I think the way that we frame a situation can really change the way that we interact with that situation. I know for one, if you tell me I got to do something, then I dread it and I don't want to do it. But if you tell me I could do something, it's a choice and there might be some pros to doing it or I might like it, then, I might very well choose it. So I think if you reduce your life to kind of a to-do list, to these are the things that I have to do, it creates this almost like a space between you and your life. There's somewhat of a disconnect there, and it's like I don't even know what I'm trying to say exactly. It's like you're being pulled into things that you'd rather not. But don't forget that your life is yours. I think that's a really important place to start when you're sort of framing out what do you want to do with a given day. It's easy to say, I have to do this, I have to do that. But I'll start by encouraging you to take a step back and ask yourself, how many of the things that we think are necessary really are necessary, and how many have we just sort of convinced ourselves we have to do? So this one's a little bit tough without context or examples. I'm not sure what the questioner might be thinking about here, but just to give maybe a simple example, take going to the gym, for example. You want to work out, you want to get in shape. Maybe you feel that those changes are necessary if you're gonna frame the situation as such. Well, if you work out because you want to lose weight, or you want to tone your muscles, or whatever your motivations are, I think that's really difficult. First of all, working out really becomes work, right? It puts the work in working out, and I've got to get to the gym this morning, but I'm tired, or I need to work out today, but I'm not feeling great, or whatever the case may be. Once again, then there's kind of this disconnect between you and your life, where it's like you have this notion of obligation with regard to your own choices, and you almost forget that they were your own choices. So I'm generally kind of skeptical of extrinsic motivation. There's a time and a place where this sucks, but it gets me where I need to go. That might be a thing, but whenever possible, I think we should try to eliminate that from our lives. So to go back to the gym example, maybe you find ways to exercise that are intrinsically valuable, that you just enjoy. Maybe it's dance, maybe it's sports, maybe it's, some other way to be active that you just do it because it's fun. And if it's fun and you like it, then you'll stick with it. But if every day is, I'm on a mission to meet some goal, then there's going to be a lot of curveballs that life throws at you that make it hard to stay on that course. I guess another example you could maybe think of is maybe you're a college student and you feel that getting a degree is necessary. Again, the first thing I would ask is it necessary? A college degree can be a really handy thing, but I don't know if it's a necessary thing. There's a lot of ways to do life, and there's a lot of pros and cons to all of them. But if you think, I've got to get this college degree, then you're already in class and you're really only there to get the grade, and maybe you're kind of bored by the material, and it just feels like something you got to slog through. It's like, I don't want to do this, but I kind of feel like I need to do this because of where it gets me. Same thing in this case, if you could shift your focus and make it a bit more intrinsic. So, okay, I'm in college. What can I do with that right now? Where can I bring playfulness into today's exchange or materials, or with my classmates, or this material is kind of boring and it's not my jam, but how might I relate to it in a way that, benefits me, that I can apply, that leads to personal growth, or that I find kind of interesting, or what have you. So Same thing, even in a context like that. I think if you can find the intrinsic value and the intrinsic motivation in it, then you'll stop feeling like, you have to force yourself to do things. Because in general, I think when we try to force ourselves to do something, it's really not sustainable, and it's definitely not fun, And so even if you win one of these necessary prizes, we might ask ourselves whether or not that was really worth it. So stay grounded in the moment, keep finding ways to make each moment and each day special. And if along the way that gets you to some other cool places that you thought were necessary, then fantastic. If it takes you in a different direction and it turned out the thing that we thought was so important wasn't so important, well, that can be a really cool lesson as well. So, without any specific context of where that question might take you, that's just kind of some of my general thoughts. Hopefully you found that helpful. I really appreciate the submission. I hope all of you out there watching and listening found that helpful. Thanks for sharing this time with me, and I'll see you back here in the next one.